Hello everybody, welcome to another quick video. Now, it's all this short and sweet today, but I thought I'd sort of show you a couple of bits that we've done. A few years ago we decided to rewild the garden. So sections of it that are literally sort of given out to wildflowers and better just let things grow. We manage it but just let them grow. And it's fantastic for bees and other kind of wildlife. You can probably hear the bird shouting in the background, so we get a lot of stuff arriving in the garden and it's been absolutely brilliant, especially for photography. Now what I'm going to do today is just get a couple of shots of some of the wildflowers that we've got. More specifically, this is a Astrantia plant. I'll show you a couple of bits I'll do now on the back of the OM-1. So what I'm trying to take a shot of today is some Astrantia. Now just pan this over. That's what I'm actually taking the shot of. Now it's a little bit windy, so I'm going to have to be a little bit careful with it. But in camera, how it's set up, I'm actually focused just on this bottom point here. So it's the furthest forward, and I'm actually using focus stacking. Which will take us a shot from the front and actually work it backwards. Now the way I've got it set it for 15 shots. Now if I take the shot now, hopefully you saw that, you'll actually see it sort of move the focus backwards as it takes the shot. And process that all together and actually gives you a pretty high quality JPEG of the plant that I've just taken. Which I'll pop on screen now for you so you can actually have a look. It's quite a simple process, but it uses the onboard computation of the OM-1 to give you the result. Now hopefully not too much noise in the background, because obviously we do live in a city suburb, so you know there's stuff going on all the time. But what that has given you is the ability to actually get a very tight focused image without the hassle of actually sort of manually doing the focus stacking yourself. Obviously it doesn't give you a raw output with that focus stack, but it will give you raw of all the intermediate shots. So there'll be 15 shots of the actual sort of focusing points back to back as it sort of processes it, and then the finalised JPEG straight from the camera. One thing that you can do, which is quite handy, is actually sort of manually stack those together. So once you've got a process that you like, you can do that on one image, clone that across them, then actually run it through some focus stacking software. And obviously I've run Linux. A lot of people sort of running Windows or Mac, they'll be using Lightroom or Photoshop, which has inbuilt stacking as part of it. So yeah, it's something you can do, actually sort of process the raws for you like that. But it's a really straightforward process, and it really shows off the processing power of the OM-1. And it's actually been available in quite a few of the Olympus cameras previously. On my old OM-1 Mark II, you could do a similar sort of thing with it. But certainly the speed of the OM-1 makes it much easier and much more viable. But I'll take another couple of shots. I'll pop those up now for you, come some of the other bits that I've got around the garden. There you go, a couple of little shots. Like I said, we've got various different flowers and things like that that was planted up years ago. And it's worked really well. It really attracts a lot of wildlife, a lot of bees and things like that. Now one thing that we have found as well is, because essentially the bits that we've cut down, we've sort of just piled up in different sections. It's fantastic for hedgehogs. We've got a couple that are sort of living in the garden now. Hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, we'll actually get some babies out of them as well this year, like we did the other year. But it's quite nice to actually see them sort of coming out in the evening. I actually got a shot of them the other night. I'll pop that up now for you. But yeah, they're lovely little creatures. It really does help out if you've got sort of, you know, something a little bit more sort of natural for them to use as their environment rather than sort of a clinical garden. It's something that we decided, you know, like I said, a few years ago, that would have a managed wild garden rather than being sort of completely pristine and sort of show ready. But yeah, it's really nice to see the wildlife around. As far as equipment goes for actually taking the shots. At the moment, so I've got the 30mm macro on the OM-1. It's a very budget lens, but the results are fantastic. The minimal focus distance is ridiculously close, so you can get really tight into things, and it's really nice to get some real sort of interest, sort of deep detail from plants and stuff like that. You can even get wildlife with it as well, some insects. If they're sort of staying put, they will sort of give you some interest. But we've got some lovely blossom coming up at the moment, and taking a few shots of those. I'll pop that up now for you. You'll see the sort of results that you can get from what is essentially a budget macro lens. The beauty about the focus stacking inside the OM-1 is you actually don't need to have it completely fixed on a tripod. It'll actually do it handheld for you. The way that the focus stacking works, it actually gives you an output of a slightly smaller frame to what you actually see through the viewfinder. When you actually sort of fire it up with the focus stack on, you'll actually see that frame drawn around the outside, so you know which areas to be looking at. And the way that it does that is, if you are focusing and shooting handheld, if you've got a little bit of movement in the camera, it'll compensate for that and actually bring everything back together. I'll just do a quick sort of handheld shot. I've actually got a little bit of sort of blossom on the holly, so I'll do a quick shot of that for you, and you can see what that looks like. You really don't need a massive budget. Something as simple as this, small tripod, will give you great results. Get down low, and because this has actually got articulating legs, you can get some interesting angles. I'll pop a link to this for you. I actually bought it from Amazon, reasonably cheap. I just pop a little arc split adapter on the top, which all my cameras use. But it gives you great results. It's lightweight, it's easy enough just to sort of drop on your belt, or sort of any sort of small side bag that we use. It's given us sort of some lovely results, and it's really handy just to keep on you when you're out and about. So yeah, well worth a look. So I've given you a little bit of an insight into what you can do with some of the Olympus and OM-system cameras and the onboard computations. Obviously the OM-1 being the latest, it's the fastest, and sort of give you the results a lot quicker. But OM-1 Mark III, OM-1 Mark II, they all have the focus stacking in there. If you've got the right lens, it'll give you some astounding results. But if there's any information you want, please just drop a comment down below. I'll get back to you as I can. And if you like the video, please do hit that thumbs up button. Really helps the channel out. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. It doesn't cost you a penny, but it sort of really helps me out. And I'll say for now, I'll pop another couple of shots up for you, and we'll see you again on the next one. Thanks for watching.